How was it working with the Coen brothers?
It was great. It was kind of a crazy honor that I never expected to have bestowed on me. But it was wonderful. They were so easygoing and lovely and fun.
How does working with them compare to, say, doing like the Gatsby or something along those lines?
I actually came straight from Gatsby to New York and finished Gatsby on Friday and was shooting the Coen brothers, shooting inside Llewyn Davis on Monday, so it was really kind of quick reverse, but obviously completely different. The Great Gatsby was an enormous set and lots of sort of show, and this was a tiny crew in New York on location, just running around and getting done by 5 in the afternoon, and the kind of stuff that never happens on a film.
Excellent. Obviously, about folk music. Were you a fan at all of folk music before getting involved with the film?
Yeah, I knew a fair amount of the people they were talking about. Not quite so much about the history of the village and everything that was going on at the time, but a lot of the music that came out of that time I was a fan of, but didn't really know how it had all come together. So that was really interesting, and getting to talk to T-Bone about that was fascinating, him having first-hand experience of all of these people and that time.
On a bit of a personal note, what kind of music do you gravitate towards? What are you a fan of naturally?
I have such a broad taste in music, from it kind of goes all over the spectrum, from kind of lots of folk music like Johnny Flynn and Gillian Welch, and to like the stuff I listen to in the gym, which is different, very different.
Is there a particular album that maybe you keyed in on as when you were younger, or maybe recently, that you're like, that is my album, that's my favorite album?
Oh, my favorite album. My favorite album at the moment is the Milk Carton Kids, Ash and Clay, which I'd never heard their music before, and heard them at the concert that we did for Inside Llewyn Davis. So they're my current favorite Can't Listen to Anything Else album.
So speaking of doing concerts and things, what was it like to sing on camera? I mean, we've been lucky, we've been able to see a lot of Q&As with the Coen brothers and John and everybody and Oscar. We haven't been able to see you at one yet, but what was it like to sing on camera and do a live performance like that?
It was actually really fun. I'd done it before for another film, and that was a lot more daunting and a lot more sort of intense. And this one was great. Stark and Justin and I had figured out our little performance, and it was just hilarious watching Justin doing what he did with that character, and we ended up having a really good time.
Excellent, excellent. Now, switching gears just a bit back to the paper, do you have a particular Coen brothers movie that maybe the first one you can remember seeing that you said, oh wow, those guys have a unique vision, like those guys are pretty cool?
The first one I saw was Fargo, and then I went back around through everything else, but Fargo remains my favorite. Basically just because Frances McDormand's my hero.
Excellent. And T-Bone Burnett.
Yeah.
Coolest guy on the earth, on the planet?
Coolest guy on the earth, and the nicest guy on the earth. And I knew he was incredibly cool. I'd met him 4 or 5 years ago at some thing, and he was very nice, but I thought he was kind of this epically cool, untouchable person. And then we started working together, and he's given me about 17,000 enormous bear hugs throughout this whole process, from in the recording studio till like backstage at the New York Film Festival where I was nervous to go on stage. He's like the best bear hug giver of all time.
Fantastic. Prior to this project, what was your kind of exposure to folk music?
Not vast. I mean, just sort of things that I heard. I always get passed on music from friends. I'm not really, I'm not like a massive music sort of fan, but I listen to lots of broad things, so mainly things that my friends have just passed on to me.
Okay, and switching to your character a bit, how do you describe the dynamic relationship between Jean and Llewyn in the film? I mean,
I think you're just catching really, really close friends at a really bad week in their relationship, and I think the reason they're able to be so brutal with each other is because they are really close, and I hope that you can kind of get a sense that they've come from a time when they were really, really good friends, and this has just come to a boiling point.
Okay, excellent. Is there something about period pieces that kind of make you gravitate towards doing something that is, set in a time and a place rather than... No,
not particularly. It's always been sort of just a character. I haven't really... I mean, there's something really fun. I mean, it's great getting to immerse yourself in a period. That's always fun as an actor. But it's always just been sort of chance that I've ended up in being in quite a few costume things.
So obviously this is a film about people and character. What would you want to tell people about the film that maybe they don't understand or they don't want to know? They don't know that you'd want them to know to make them come see the film.
Well, they wouldn't know. I don't know what they wouldn't know. I mean, I was completely blown away by Oscar in the film. I think his performance is, I haven't seen anything like it for such a long time. I think he's extraordinary in it. And his everything about the way that he performs and sings and his character in the film, I think is so brilliant. And I think that's one of those gifts where you walk away from a film really feeling like you've seen something really extraordinary. So I think that's something people would want to see.